guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. With current dating trends right now and current social media and current movies and TVs and everything else, men are becoming more and more unenamored, like not thrilled with the female variety. And guys are being told, hey, you know what? A lot of women think you're creepy and everything you do is inappropriate. And now to a large scale, men are starting to avoid interacting with the opposite sex. I've got a really interesting story here from the post-millennial. I disagree with what they say at the end of it, but as we read it, you can tell me. But it kind of boils down to, guys are told that they're not, like the average, even good-looking men are now average or below average. And if you've ever seen the OkCupid curve, most women rate men as average or below average, even though that mathematically doesn't work out. And since when young guys see this, or even the average guy sees this, and we're being told that the average-looking girl wants all the sixes, 6 foot tall, 6 inches long, six-figure salary, you're going to find that a lot of men are saying, hey, you know what? They're going to find me creepy, or they're going to not interact with me well, and so I'm not going to ask them out. But it's also guys now casually interacting with women that get accused of supposedly either hitting on them or being too forward when they're just being polite. Then more and more men are just becoming disenfranchised with the whole thing. Not to mention, the blue-haired crazies on the rise that are basically hate men just for existing. And this has been around, here I've got a meme from, or a little cartoon from 2013, almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago from Sunny Street. And it says, know the work rules. And it says, appropriate, looking good, Susan. And she says, oh, you're sweet. And, of course, it's the GQ-looking guy in a suit of being polite to her, and not even necessarily flirting, just being polite. And then here you've got the guy in the sweater vest that's overweight that says, looking good, Susan, same thing. And she says, hello, human resources. And this has been around, this is on meme pages, and we guys talk about this, but this perception is now getting to the point where even if this guy, the good-looking GQ guy, is only 5'9" and makes $30,000 a year, he might actually be creepy because women's expectations of what they should be able to date are getting more and more and more. So I'm going to read the article. We'll talk a little bit more about it. Before I jump in too far, make sure to join us on the links I've got below the video and in the pinned comment, or on Locals in the separate pin. I did a review of Jeremy's razors. As you guys know, if you've been following me for a couple of years, I want to do a men's retreat for guys. I'm saving money for it. Daily Wire, if you will sign up or get a subscription to Daily Wire or buy Jeremy's razors, you can, whoever wins that will get $250,000, $250,000 after taxes, like 125 probably. And I'd like to put that towards the men's retreat. So if you'd like to help us win a retreat for some guys, we're in first place. Follow the links below. Read all up about it. I would appreciate your help. That means a lot to us. All right, the main article from Post Millennial: half of single men avoid approaching women for fear of seeming creepy. Now, that's the headline, half of single men, but here's the real takeaway. Right here, the first sentence: men avoid women out of fear of being creepy. 44% of men say the fear of being creepy reduces their likelihood of interacting with women, generally, which jumps to 53% of men who reported that they are single. So this means married guys, guys in the workplace, single men, just men in general, 44% are avoiding women because of fear of seeming creepy. And I think also this has to do with, having an accusation labeled against you. Just making a woman now uncomfortable can get you in trouble with the law over in various places in the UK and Australia. Like, I think one of them is if you stare at a woman for too long, that can actually be a crime. So guys are starting to avoid women more and more. And the funny thing is women will complain about this. Well, not all women, but women that actually want to interact with men or get a leg up in society, like in the workplace, and they might need a male mentor or they have a male boss. Those guys are saying, no, I'm really not here to help you because I may get in trouble for this. They say an increasing number of men are apparently afraid to approach women for fear of being perceived as creepy, a recent article in Psychology Today reports. However, there's a big difference between coming on to someone and coming off as creepy, says online dating coach Blair Anderson, who recently conducted a survey about what it means to be creepy in the online dating world. But here's the thing. Let's go back to the beginning of this. Men are avoiding, 44% of men avoid women. They're not talking about dating. They're not talking about asking a girl out. They're just talking about avoiding women in everyday, general, like day-to-day interactions. It was 53% of men who reported that they are single. But you notice they only focus immediately on the dating apps and this kind of thing, thinking that, well, it must be these creepy guys. No, when you're just doing your everyday normal life, a lot of women are going to say, if you're not attractive or whatever, even if you're just being polite or holding a door open for them, they're now kind of being weirded out on it. They say, thankfully, Anderson says because that because being creepy lacks a clear definition in the online dating context, leading men to fear being unintentionally perceived as creepy, it can lead to deep social anxiety for many men. Anderson points out that this just isn't bad for men, but also for women if terrific single men won't approach them out of fear of being perceived as creepy. Now, again, they kind of are focusing on the dating thing, but when men used to have an understanding that you could be polite to a woman, you could even chat them up a little bit or just have a conversation with them, and you were fine. Now it's literally, I have a boyfriend for everything, or they make the assumption that a guy's coming on to them. I wish I had pulled this up, but there's some guys in a truck that were recording video, and they were hitting their horn and beeping at a lady, and she finally stops and walks straight back to the car, and she says, you know something, it's creepy when you do this, and I have a boyfriend, and you guys thinking that it's hot to just hit your horn at women, and she kind of goes off on him. He says, ma'am, you have a gasoline hose hanging out the side of your car. You didn't unplug it before you drove off from the gas station. And they were just trying to let her know. And she got embarrassed and went up and took the hose and got in the car and drove off. And that's what guys, when a man has that kind of encounter of, hey, you left shut up, you're creepy, from then on out, it's like, I'm just going to avoid women. And the more it happens to men, the more they say, you know what, I'm just not getting a good interaction with women. Why should I bother? What does it add to my life? What does being nice or holding a door open for a woman give me? Nothing. I was just doing it to be nice. But now if you're going to treat me like I'm an asshole, or I'm just, like somehow for some reason you think you're such a hot piece of ass that I'm hitting on you, I'm just not going to be bothered. You're a bitch. I don't want to be bothered. They say to tackle the problem, Anderson conducted 2 surveys, one in which she surveyed 2,000 American women between the ages of 18 and 40 with the aim of gaining a better understanding of what behavior falls into the category of creepy. In the other, she surveyed 1,000 American men between the ages of 18 and 40 to understand the extent of the fear of approaching women. Anderson found that women regularly experience creepy behaviors. 82% of women reported experiencing creepy behavior sometimes, often, or constantly. And that statistic tells you right there why men are avoiding women. Because do you think that 82% of men are creepy? These women probably do. But more than likely, again, if a woman perceives you as being nice to her, she now thinks you're flirting. And even if you're not her type and you weren't even trying to come on to her, she's going to think that's creepy. They go on to say men avoid women out of fear of being creepy. 44% of men say the fear of being creepy reduces their likelihood of interacting with women. I already read this part. It was up at the top. There are 9 creepy behaviors Anderson found that men should avoid. Okay, staring, unwanted contact on social media, inappropriate comments, controlling behaviors, won't accept no, unwanted physical contact, pressure for sex, clinginess, and physical stalking. Okay, well, let's use this as an example of what they're saying, and let's go back to this cartoon here. He just said, "Hey, you're looking good." Or maybe let's say you give a woman a compliment, like, "Oh, hey, I like your dress," or "That's a cute outfit," or "Cool shoes," or whatever. Does that fall under? This says under unwanted contact on social media, but it's going to be unwanted contact if you're not attractive, or she doesn't find you attractive. She doesn't want to be bothered with you. Staring, yeah, that can be a little bit creepy, but it used to be if a guy staring at a woman in a bar means he was attracted to her, found her interesting, and she liked that. Now it's unwanted. Well, let's be honest. She does like it if you're hot or you're tall or she's interested in you. That's when the girl's whispering like, oh, he's checking you out. He's staring at you. But if you're maybe the overweight, slightly shorter, not as attractive dude, that's unwanted. And guys don't know where they fall anymore. Because, again, women are rating guys that are like 7 and 8 on the attractive scale as average. So guys, naturally, If somebody now were to ask me, like, what do you think about how good looking you are, I'd say I'm probably below average at this point. When guys that are 8s are struggling to get dates, I'd have to assume I'm certainly below average. Controlling behaviors, which is unacceptable, but I don't think that many guys are doing it. Won't accept no. Oh, I've done memes on this stuff where women are like, I blocked his phone number so he couldn't, or I blocked him on social media and he stopped reaching out to me, or I said no to a date and he never asked me out again and said okay. Like, why do men stop the pursuit if I say no once? It's because of this, because you keep saying you don't. When you say no, it means no, so we go okay. She goes on to say that women can find online dating discouraging due to the fact that it's difficult to glean very much information about a person from a photograph and very few lines in his dating profile, which can result in going on many dates with people who are incompatible. Oh, the struggles of going on lots of dates to find the right person. Now ask the average guy, because these are not average guys going on tons of dates. These are guys with a lot of opportunity. But the average guy doesn't get the shots. And so, of course, if a guy has a lot of opportunities and he goes on lots of dates, he can kind of act like a jerk. He can be a little creepy because he knows if I screw this up, I'm going to get another opportunity. But the average guys certainly don't. And here they're saying, oh, it's difficult to glean information about a person's photograph. But I've done videos on how, like, they take some guys did an experiment where they took a gym bro dude that looked like a model and gave him the worst personality ever, and women were sending them numbers and willing to hook up with him. They say for men, the frustration apparently lies in the difficulty of creating a unique profile. Okay, well, sure, but how do you be unique? It's like, here's my photo. It's a dating profile. Here's a photo and 50 words about me. Like, how unique can you be? This is why I say the online dating thing is done. Post-millennial just took this straight down the rabbit hole of dating. But that's not the point of all this. The point of all this was 44% of men say the fear of being creepy is just interacting with women. That's the real story. That's the story here, is that guys are saying, you know what? There's not enough benefit interacting with some of these women. I could get accused of something I didn't even do. Women are making up stories. And a good example of this is this video I showed. Let me see if I have it pulled up. I'm going to do this in another video, but let me see if I have this pulled up. Right here, this video I did, here's a guy that, here's a girl that cut off a guy in Walmart, and she's like freaking out about it.
I didn't touch you, man.
Like she's, and again, I'll do this. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in another video, but she's squealing and squealing and screeching and having a conniption. And the guy's like, you cut me off, lady. Like, all you did is walk in front of me. Like, what? She's acting like a 4-year-old child. But when that's the kind of interaction you can think you're going to get from some of these women, no wonder men don't want to interact with women anymore.